Hello and welcome back to the Track World Touring Car Championship. We're past the halfway point of the season. It's round number 6. Today we're at Brands Hatch for 3 more action-packed races, this time from the Pro category. The shortest track on the calendar, this 1.2 mile circuit, is going to play host to 3 21-lap races over the course of the night. And with the track so close, traffic could end up playing in a massive part in these races. Take a look at the championship. AMS Merckx currently leads the way on 636 points, a 33-point lead over TRAC WTCC who sits in second. The interesting part here is AMS Merckx is absent from this grid tonight, so there's a good chance that championship lead will fall. LMP Stats is close by in third, just 5 points behind of TRAC WTCC in third place. Sean S91, the Fell, WRT McCallboy in a Chevrolet rounds out the top 6. Track John just a few points further back in P7 with DOR Crackedon a further 2 points back to round out the top 8. So with the promise of plenty of action, we're going to get straight down to business and take a look at the grid for the first of tonight's 3 races. Once again decided by hot lap qualifying, it was HKF Racing, Howard Fuller and the Fell who line up on row 2. Skunk and Sean S91 will take row 2. Row 3 is Punisher and Track Bliss, with Track Johnny and WRT McCallboy filling out row number 4. Row number 5 is Track WTCC and LMP Stats, with It's Green and Puglet X Modified getting a penalty for not dirty in his first lap in qualifying, as did Track John, who round out this 13-car field. Now it's time to get down to business, so let's head down to the grid and get ready for race number 1. So down on the grid, ready to go for the first race of the day. You've got the Audi on the inside, the BMW on the outside. Expect it to go well when the lights finally go out for the first race of the day. A little bit of a jump start there from the Audi, but we're off and running. Good start from the BMW. It's already gone side by side with Howard Fuller, heading through turn number 1 through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. The Audi goes all sorts of sideways, but sweeps around in towards P1. Looks like Punisher's got himself into second. You've got another RS3 up there into 4th place as well, as they're going too wide through the Druids hairpin, but it's Howard Fuller that leads. Looks like that's Nathel that sat there in 2nd place, with Punisher 3rd and Sean in 4th. They've got a bit of a gap already, so the 87 car now trying to fend off from the 18 BMW just behind it, but it's all clean through the first couple of corners, through McLaren's and onto clearways to put 1 lap in the book. It's just a 40-odd second lap around this circuit, so the laps are pretty frenetic. There's only a couple of overtaking points, but this is definitely one of them, and Sean is going straight for it down the inside of Punisher along down the main straight to put 1 lap in the book. That's how fast the lap is around here at Brands Hatch, through Paddock Hill Bend for the second time of asking, and the BMW just holding that Audi RS3 behind. It looks like one of the Hondas is getting up towards the sharp end of the field. It's all closing up now for the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. Already nose to tail. Howard Fuller trying to soak up the pressure from the Fell, and Punisher just behind for the top 3. But it's the RCRB Insurance Team Hard driver that's got away at the start of this one. The 65 car that currently leads here at Brands Hatch, heading through McLaren's and up towards clearways for the second time of asking. Fantastic start there from the top 3 that already started to build a bit of a gap. Looks like Punisher has a decent one there on the Fell now for 2nd place. Heading through clearways, put another lap in the book here at Brands Hatch. It's getting all close there for the fight for 4th. You've got Creamed in there with that brand new red paint, trying to go for a move on Bliss. You've got Puglet just behind these guys, side by side, the 2 Hondas heading through Druids. This is just about going to let Sean get away. You see the gaps already starting to build up as you've got Bliss on the inside. You've got Creamed on the outside. The pair are still side by side. That NASCAR style livery with the Degeneration X branded all over it just has to slot in behind the Simpsons Racing Honda just in front. You've got to be careful now as the other cars getting into this as well. You've got Puglet getting into the mix. So 3 Hondas now fighting over 5th position, heading through clearways to put yet another lap in the book. And it looks like Cream now under pressure from Puglet behind, coming side by side through clearways. This is a pretty good overtaking point. You've got a power advantage. You can drag past your rival, but the outside of Paddock Hill is definitely not where you want to be, especially with that gravel trap so close on the outside, and he has to slot in and think about another move down in towards the hairpin. He's not quite close enough, but Cream is close enough to try and get a move on Bliss there. Thinks about the dive, shows the nose, but isn't close enough to do it. These 3 are still now catching up to the guys in front as Sean has closed that gap to Nathel, who's now dropped down to 3rd thanks to Punisher moving up the field. Looking at Cream now in the 45 car, trying to get back on terms with Bliss just in front, heading through that corner there, gets a little bit sideways over the curb, and heading through clearways to put another lap in the book. Is right on the rear bumper of that Simpsons Racing car, which in turn is on the rear bumper of Sean and the Olin sponsored Audi RS3 as they head down the main straight. These laps are ticking by pretty quickly here. You got Bliss going towards the outside of Paddock Hill Bend. Again, this isn't where you want to be. Going a little bit wide. That's going to allow Cream down the inside to get the position up into 5th place. Will it be 4th? Trying to fire it down the inside of the Audi pretty much straight away, not close enough, and Sean just gets the nose in front and gets that door closed to make sure the Honda stays behind him. Now though, he's got 3 Hondas trying to fight his way past as it looks behind. You got a BMW and an Audi fighting. Looks like Track John's trying to make some headway, while the 45 car of It's Green is now trying to fight off Bliss to try and hold them back there in P number 5. Down the inside of the Olin's car goes really wide, though they're off in the gravel, so that dive hasn't really paid them dividends there. That's put them further down the order. We said it like it was an Audi fighting. You've got Track John now trying to hold off from Skunkai. Skunkai had a decent qualifying position. He ended up dropping down at the start of the race, but now he's trying to fight his way back through. He's trying to get his first target is the number 9 Oreo car. You can see you've got LMP Stats, Nathel's teammate. Nathel's currently running up in 3rd. Stats a little bit further down the field. They've definitely been the quicker of the 2 WSR cars in the early part of this year, but Skunkai now is definitely the quicker of the 2 cars. Out to Track John. Down the inside of Druid's hairpin, the Mercedes gets towards the inside and gets the position on the Audi S3. The S3's got absolutely nothing to do with the Mercedes. They cannot live with the power of that car. Heading down towards... This is on board with Puglet now. Let's see what happened. We did see a car off towards the exit of the circuit. Look at the back of Sean there. And it looks like, just gets himself a little bit sideways, maybe a little bit of a laggy touch there, something that can happen in sim racing. Having another look at it, the cameraman managed to catch it up and he just got sent around and off into the barriers just to keep out the wall. Not quite. Skunkai now trying to set his sights on LMP Stats, the BMW. Stats running in towards the top 3 of the championship. Skunkai not even made it in towards the top 8, but Skunkai is going to get a run here thanks to Stats going wide and clipping the gravel. That's going to allow the Mercedes driver to pick up yet another place. So in just a handful of laps, Skunkai and the Mercedes already got 2 places on 2 relatively quick drivers who've all been on the podium. Now though, you've got Track Row trying to fight off the Vauxhall of McCloy Boy. You've also got, I believe that's Track Johnny in there as well with the recovering Sean S91. The Vauxhall goes really defensive towards the inside of Druids, but Track Row gets a nose down the inside. It gives them the outside for Graham Hill Bend, which they're coming up to next. But you've got Johnny's just in the back of this fight as well. Crow's lost a little bit of ground there to the Vauxhall in front and can't quite live with him down that straight. The Vauxhall does have some really good drive out of the corners around this circuit, but Crow runs wide. That's not how you defend a position. He's going to let one Audi through. Will he let the other one through? It looks like he's just got the drive and just got back in front of Track Johnny and Sean goes back off the road. He needs to try and keep that RS3 on the road if he wants to get up towards the sharp end of the championship, not throw it in the gravel. Yeah, the green stuff, black stuff, totally different, but Johnny now looking at the back of Track Row, down in through Paddock Hill Bend, heading up towards Druids for a manyth time, under the Falcon McLaren Bridge, and he gets down the inside of the Oreo car, but can't get it stopped. Has to use the handbrake to try and pull that car up a little bit. A little bit of wheel spin as he gets the power down, but he cannot live with the pace out BMW out of the corners. Pushing quite hard to try and catch up with Howard Fuller. That gap has come down a little bit, but he's off. He's in the gravel. He's gone wide. That's going to allow Nathel through to second. Is it going to allow the fleet of Hondas through as well? 1 Honda, 2 Hondas. The third one gets past as well. So Punisher, in one tiny mistake, has just lost 4 positions. He's straight on the recovery though. He's trying to get himself straight away past Creed, who has dropped off the pair of Simpson's car just in front. Looks like Bliss and Puglet have a little bit more pace in that car as Cream goes sideways, goes off the road. That's going to give Punisher exactly what he needs to be able to get down the inside and get that move completed. The 2 Simpsons cars that are tearing chunks out of each other. Bliss goes down the inside of Puglet, gets the move done. These guys need to try and make sure they're not losing too much time here as Bliss goes off. Bliss is off in the gravel. That's not what teammates are supposed to do. You're supposed to work together. Those few offs though have set up quite a decent little scrap here as you've got 3 cars that are all trying to recover back through the field, going absolutely hell for leather at each other. 2 wide coming out of clearways. The BMW gets shuffled out and both Hondas get through there. So Bliss just getting through with Cream following suit. Now Cream is going to potentially try and send it down the inside of Parrot Hill Bend. Shows the nose a little bit there, thinks a little bit better of it, slots back in behind the Honda. The pair of Hondas though looks like they're drafting each other. They look like they're working together. They're definitely not teammates. You can tell that now. As Punisher now tries to send it down the inside of Cream. No one there, not close enough to go for it. And Cream now again pushing on. Another driver pushing on here is Puglet as he tries to get on terms with Nathel potentially trying to get second place. Pugler's had a couple of podiums this year, and Nathel goes a little bit wide through Paddock Hill Bend. They're going to have to back off. That's going to give the Honda exactly what they need to try and get down the inside. Will he get the move done into Druids? It looks like they've got the move done before Druids. The BMW, though, comes back a little bit. You can see how far Howard Fuller at the front of this one's cleared off, but it's Pugler now who's going to lead the charge in towards second place to try and close down that Audi. The Vauxhall now coming under pressure from the Audi S3 of Track Johnny behind. Johnny's been closing the last couple of laps, trying to see if they can get on terms. It looks like there might be a car at the bank there at the exit of Graham Hill Bend. We might have to take a look, see what happened there as there's hoardings in the road. Johnny, though, is trying everything to get past this Vauxhall in front, but cannot manage it. So I think we're going to see what happened to the car that was stuck up in the barrier at the top. There's some ball with creamed in that bright red Honda with a brand new livery for today. There's Bliss in front. Oh, it looks like a little bit of a touch there, and that's put Bliss up the banking as Cream goes off as well. Looks like the cameraman actually managed to catch it, so fair play to him. Oh, you can see Cream's just gone straight on, locks the brakes up. Does he keep him at the wall? Just about. A good drive, though, for Howard Fuller. He's led this one from the start, lights to flag victory. It's his first win in the Track World Touring Car Championship. Howard Fuller wins round number 16 of the Track World Touring Car Championship. Pugler X Modified comes home in second place with its creams, rounded up the podium. Nathel comes home fourth. Punisher rounds up the top five. Skunkai came home sixth. Seventh was Track John. LMP stands eighth. WRT McColbury in the Vauxhall came home ninth. 10th was Track John. Sean S91 rounded out the top 11 with Mike completing the top 12. So, as is customary with race number 2, it's going to be a partial reverse grid. So we have someone very famous stick their hand into a bag of balls and pick out a number. The number that came out was number 11. So that's going to promote Sean S91 and Track Johnny onto the front row, making it an all-Audi affair. Also joining the grid is going to be SVR Branners, who didn't manage to get out during qualifying or the first race. So he's going to be starting this one from the back. Let's head down to the grid. So back down on the grid, and as you can see, the rain is falling. So this next race is going to be a little bit more difficult, especially for the rear-wheel drive cars. The 5 road lights are on. Ready to go here at Brands Hatch. Out we go. A good start there for the BMW despite the wet conditions. The camber of the road is definitely not helping the guys, but the Vauxhall and the Audi and the BMW start to get a really good start. They're already starting to stretch away from the field as Punishers come up from the middle of the pack to come in towards P number 4. They're challenging start by the looks of it for P3 in towards Drew for the first time. It is Sean that leads. McColboy's there in second place. The two BMWs are side by side for third. A little bit of a step out there as you got Crow going sideways in the bottom of the picture, and now that's McColboy going sideways as well as Sean's off the road, showing exactly how difficult these conditions are. The guys raced in dry conditions and now they're forced to drive in a full wet condition. It's not going to be easy for these guys to get through this race, but it is Sean that leads. McColboy the Vauxhall second. Stats there in third. I believe that's John that's got there in fourth as Punisher goes wide. Looks like the Mercedes is going to exit stage left as Skunkai tries to get the car back on the road. Rejoins behind Howard Fuller down there in 14th place as Bradders has had a manic start. He's already going past Nathel there. He's towards the middle of the pack already, challenging towards the front of the top 5. Down in towards Drew, it's there 3 wide. You got a Honda off on the grass. Will he be able to get that stop? Just about, as it looks like that's Cream trying to defend from Bradders, but he loses out to outside P7 there for Bradders. Awesome start there for the back of the grid in this 15 car field. Down the back straight and heading towards McLaren Bend. Down the inside, he's got Johnny now as well. Bradders is firing his way through the field. Already going down the inside of Punisher again. This BMW is absolutely hooked up. Remember, he's running without restrictions. He missed race number 1, potentially a clever tactic. But down the inside, he's got Punisher already. And now he's got Track Johnny in front of him. He's closing in on the top 5 already. Track John is losing a position by the looks of it. I believe that's Pugler going down the inside as Punisher's off wide. As I believe that's Nathel in the gravel as well. And there's a Honda again on the grass. Will he get it stopped? Just about. I believe that was Bliss on the grass. It's manic through Druids. There's cars absolutely everywhere. As it looks like Mike's got a good start there as Crow again goes sideways. Nerf in the back of a Honda. And you can see Howard Fuller staying in the back of this one, trying to stay out of all the trouble. But in front of him, it's Track John just holding on from the guys behind him as Punisher now tries to go down the inside of the Honda. It's absolutely crazy here at Brands Hatch. John right on the tail of Punisher heading through clearways. Mike has Crow just behind him. These guys have had a pretty quick start as Crow dives down the inside of clearways. gets the rear wheel drive out of the corner, forces Mike a little bit wide in the motor of the Honda. The front wheel drive pulls the car to the outside in these tricky conditions, so you've really got to be careful with the power in both the front wheel drive and the rear wheel drive cars. But as they head through to Paddock Hill Bend, Mike again looks like he's challenging on the back of Track Crow, so Crow's not going to get away with this one scot-free. Crow's the highest placed driver in the championship right now, thanks to AMS Merckx not being present here and not scoring for 3 races. That's really going to hurt his championship fight, but it's going to help the guys who are out there on track right now, as it looks like one of the Hondas just goes off, at least a place there to Track John, who's not faring as well as his teammate in these conditions. Thel trying to hang on from that Oreo Audi S3 that is sat in behind him. The BMWs traditionally don't like the wet conditions. It's really hard to get the power down compared to the front wheel drive cars, where if you slide you can just boot it. The rear wheel drive cars, you have to be a lot more delicate with them, a lot more careful, otherwise the back end steps out and you can lose a whole host of positions. You can see the rear of that BMW's fishtailing, and that's allowing the Audis to get side by side down the main straights, put another lap in the book. Nethel just has it, as it looks like the skies are starting to brighten up now, so this race might start coming to the BMWs out a little bit more as the track starts to dry up. If the track dries, the BMWs are definitely going to be the car to be in. Saying that, Brad is pushing on at a ridiculous pace. He's already into the top 4, challenging the top 3. His first target is LMP Stats, heading through Paddock Hill, and it looks like he's got a decent line through there, taking a very wide line through the entry of that corner, taking a traditional karting wet line, trying to find the grip in these tricky conditions. Bradders fires it down the inside of Stats in towards the Druids hairpin. Will he be able to get the power down in those slippy conditions? Just about. You can see both the BMWs are sliding around under traction there, and Bradders gets himself up into 3rd place for the back of the grid. Now he's challenging for 2nd. McCallboy in the Vauxhall trying to hang on against SVR Bradders. Bradders the top rear wheel drive car right now. He's taken over that mantra from LMP Stats. He head through down towards Graham Hill Bend. The Vauxhall trying everything to stop this BMW that's sliding through the corner, but still manages to get the power down. Fantastic driving there from SVR Bradders. He's got the inside for the next corner of McLaren's. Will he be able to hold it side by side? The Vauxhall goes off. Bradders, though, cuts back to the inside, isn't quite able to get down the inside as McCallboy fends him off for now, but runs a little bit wide on the exit of clearways. Will this allow the BMW to get the drive out the corner? McCallboy taking a very defensive line down the main straight. He's not going to let Bradders through easily. Bradders is going to have to fight for this one if he wants it. Bradders again taking a little bit of a wider line through there, nudging the back of the Vauxhall as he misjudges that a little bit, using all of the curve. Very brave in the wet from both of those guys to hang on. Bradders, though, sends it again down the inside of Druids. Will he be able to get the position on the Vauxhall now? Yes, he's got it. Bradders up to 2nd place from 15th on the grid, and we're only about halfway through this race. So it's not a good moment right now for the WSR team. LMP Stats runs already lost a position. It looks like Nethel potentially coming under threat from Track John, just a little bit further behind these guys. John in the Audi S3 has a lot more traction. That BMW that's sideways through Paddock Hill Bend. Will John be able to throw it down the inside of the 9 car? Just about gets towards the inside. Does he have the grip? Yes, he does, especially compared to that fishtailing BMW. The rear-wheel drive car's definitely not liking these slippy conditions, but Nethel just about hangs on. John using all of the road to try and get on terms with the BMW, trying to get past. Now we've got the left-hander on McLaren. You run all of the curb here in the dry, as the Simpson Racing Honda does it in the wet, and definitely gets the run there, gets the move past John. So I believe that was Bliss getting past Track John there in the 9 car. It looks like Nethel is all sorts of sideways in front, so potentially the Honda on the charge here. Here's the fight for the lead at the moment. Brad has already gapped McCallboy and Vauxhall behind, has now got right on the tail of Sean. That gap has come down to around about a 2nd now as they head through Graham Hill Bend. Looks like, oh, the Audi sideways though. This could be exactly what Bradders needs to take the lead. Sean goes off on the grass. Will he be able to hold off the BMW? Not quite. Bradders goes through from the lead from 15th on the grid and last to 1st with a couple of laps left in hand. SVR Bradders has got to the lead, but Sean's going to make him fight for it. Sean's not going to let him get away with this one. If he can fight it through, he's going to try it, but he's not able to live with the pace of that BMW. A little bit further back, Bliss is caught right up onto the tail of Nethel. This fight is going to go down absolutely to the wire, but the Honda clips the grass. They're going to go straight to the wall. They're in the barriers. The Honda destroys the wall. Tyres go everywhere, and that's that Honda damage and well down the order. That's the 2nd time you've seen one of those Simpsons cars in the walls. It was in race 1. It ended up the bank at Graham Hill. A little bit too greedy on the curb there, and a bit of a twitch straight to the scene of the accident, and that Honda is destroyed. But this guy has destroyed the competition. He's come in from the back of the grid, and he's going to complete his run of win or bust on the podium. SVR Brothers wins round number 17 of the Track World Touring Car Championship. Second went the way of Sean S91 with WRT McCallboy rounding out the podium for Vauxhall. LMP starting fourth. Track Crow completed the top five. Mike in the Honda finished sixth. Track Johnny seventh. Nadell in eighth. Skunkeye ninth. Despite that off, Track Bliss came home in 10th. Punisher rounding out the top 11 with Puglet competing the top 12. So, as is customary, the final race of the day is a full reverse grid. So that's to promote It's Creamed and Track John onto the front row with Puglet and Punisher completing the second row. Thankfully, the track is dried out and it's going to be a dry race 3. Let's head down to the grid and see how this one plays out. So, the final time tonight, down to the grid, ready to go racing. Round number 3 of the day, round number 18 of the championship. The 5 red lights are on when they go out. We're going to be racing at Brands Hatch. Out they go. Good start for the BMW. Watch him come through the pack. He's going to go down the middle. Straight down the middle of them. He's got down towards second place. He's going straight for the lead. In towards Paddock Bend. Punisher holds the lead. The Honda's sideways of Cream. Will he be able to hold it? Just about. But Cream comes back at him. Cream leads in towards Druids as you've got the Vauxhall going out wide on the curb. The Honda leads. BMW there in second. The Audi S3 is there in third. And it's another Honda up there in fourth. I believe that starts there in fifth place. But the top four already got a bit of a gap on the chasing back. Punisher pushing hard against Cream. Just about hanging on though for the lead is the 45 car. That bright red Honda is soaking up the pressure from the BMWs. You've got another Honda there trying to fight their way through in towards third place on the Oreo Audi of Track John. Punisher though goes a little bit wide. Is going to allow the Audi to get a run. It's going to allow Cream to get away for the lead. Coming across the line for the first time, John now right under the rear wing of Punisher, heading up towards Druids. You've got the other Honda in there as well as believe that's the 2 WSR cars trying to make moves up towards the field. I believe that's Bliss firing it down the inside. Heading down towards now Paddock Hill. Ben gets up in towards third position. I'll double check that number in a second, make sure I've got the right car there. It is Bliss. Bliss goes sideways, loses the position there as you've got now, I believe that's Nadell firing it down the inside to get 2 positions there. So fantastic opportunistic driving there from Nadell to get 2 positions out of that as you now got Puglet's got past Bliss as well. So Bliss, having run quite high up, is now falling down the order but going side by side with teammates heading down the main straight to put another lap in the book here through clearways and across the start finish line. It's got the 2 Simpsons Racing Hondas once again going side by side down in towards Paddock Hill Bend, but it looks like this time it's going to be Bliss that comes out on top. No, it's not. Puglet gets across the front of them. Bliss has to back off now. The second WSR car of Stats is behind there. We have got a car off straight away though. Mike in the red Honda has gone out wide towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's off in the gravel. Rejoint manages to get back on the track, using all of the road to try and stay on there, heading up towards Druids as well. You can see a lock up in front, but he's on the grass, so he's gonna head straight off into the second gravel trap. He's gonna hit the wall for good measure, so not a good start there from the Mogul car. Braddock's trying to make his way through the field. He's starting right on the back of this one. Sean S91 is going to be his first target, but you can see already Braddock's not making the progress that you'd expect. The restriction on that BMW really starting to hurt him at this point in the race. He's not able to get on terms with Sean. Sean goes a little bit wide through Paddock Hill Bend though. This could be the chance that Braddock's needs to get up towards the field, start picking off those positions. Gets down the inside and Braddock's is no longer last in this race. You can see in front the white BMW of SVR. Birchie joins us for this final race of the night. Up at the front though, looks like you've got Punisher coming under pressure from Puglet now, heading in towards Paddock Hill Bend. You can see already the Cream Honda's sodded off at the front as Punisher's off in the gravel. Punisher's gone wide at the exit of turn number 1. He's off in the gravel. He's lost quite a handful of places there, and that's promoted Puglet up into second place. It's promoted Nadell up in third place there in the 87 car, and it's also brought Bliss into this one as well. You can see Punisher's had to drop on the back of that queue behind Track Crow, and Puglet a big benefactor in that one as you've got Track Crow and Nadell going at it now. This is for 4th place, I believe, heading through clearways, heading through McLaren, sorry, and then into clearways. Crow is throwing everything at this WSR BMW to try and get in front, but loses the back end there, so not able to capitalise. A little bit more catching, and now you've got Stats and John getting into this one as well. Punisher's been dropped off the back a little bit, but if these guys start fighting, which they are now, Stats gets straight on the inside of Crow. So Crow trying to get in positions, lost the place to Stats, but gets it straight back again. This is going to allow Nadell to clear off in front. So you got John in this one as well. So 3 cars going at it now into clearways, put yet another lap in the book. then nose to tail. Crow, Stats, John running that close. You got Punisher not too far away from this, and it looks like Birchie's trying to get into this fight as well, a little bit further back. You can't count him out if these guys carry on fighting, and fighting they are. Stats is trying to go for a move. Crow goes a little bit defensive, but runs a little bit wide there at the moment through Panic Hill Ben. Will that allow Stats to get on the back end of them? They're going to look towards the inside of Druids. They're not quite close enough though to throw a move down the inside. John is thinking about taking a wider line, maybe going for a cut back there, but the Thels drop back into this fight. They can't get away at the front of this one, so what was a 2-car fight is now a 4-car fight once again. Crow right on the rear bumper of the BMW just in front. It's 3 BMWs going at it, down in towards McLaren's and across in towards Clearways to put yet another lap in the book for these guys. Time is starting to tick down here for them, so they're going to start making moves. They're going to have to start doing them quickly. Coming down the main straight, not long left in this race. Bradders though trying to make up progress. He's really struggling at the moment. He's not been able to get too many places. He's already got past the Vauxhall and the Coalboy. That's only 2 places off the back of the grid. Next target is Skunk Eye and the Mercedes. Goes around the outside after a little bit of a mistake there in towards Clearways. The Mercedes though is going to come back at the BMW. Now it looks like you've got Bliss right on the rear tail of Nethel. Heading down in towards Panic Hill Bend. Bliss in that Simpsons Honda throws it down the inside, and Nethel in the black WSR car. The Honda goes side by side with the BMW, has to back out of it behind though. Stats is going side by side with John. Stats gets down the inside. This could potentially end up in a 5-way fight now, as you got Crow potentially 6-way, as Punisher's in the back of this one as well. The Honda trying everything to get past, but the Audi side by side with Stats. The BMW has just lost out to Track Crow as well, so John's falling down the order. This is going to bring Punisher into this potentially. The Audi S3 might be about to lose a place here to the BMW behind, having lost the position to the BMW that's now in front of him. There's BMWs everywhere in this field. I believe there's 8 or 9 of them in the championship. Definitely the favourite car as Crow and Stats now go side by side down the main straight, as it looks like Bliss has had to back off a little bit compared to Nethel there, down in towards Panic Hill Bend. Crow's on the inside and trying to hang on against Stats, but Stats trying to hang in, they're not able to do it. Moves towards the inside of Druids. Crow moves across, really defensive line, really aggressive driving there from Crow to try and stop the black BMW from getting down the inside of them, and just about worked, but it brought John back into this one. This could pay dividends for Crow if they start fighting with Stats, but you've got Punisher right on the rear bumper of that Audi, so it might not work out for him. He's going to be too busy trying to defend from Punisher behind. That looks like what's happening already, as John really dropped off the back, while in front it looks like Bliss is trying to have a crack at Nethel in front. John is really struggling against the BMWs. He's not quite got the pace of them. As you see now, the Honda side by side again down in towards turn number 1. Not quite close enough to go for a dive, but Nethel runs a little bit wide. Will that allow the Honda through? Not quite, but still side by side down in towards Druids. This is where the Honda's stronger. It's strong on the brakes compared to the BMW. The Honda throws it down there, but it's not able to get in. The BMW sweeps across the nose, but now side by side down towards Graham Hill Bend, as you've got Punisher way off in the distance, and Nethel just hangs on with a little bit of a slide. Will allow Bliss to get down the inside in towards McLaren's. The Honda's got the place. It's now a Honda 1, 2, 3 at the front of this field, as Puglet's a little bit further in front. The 2 Simpsons cars running second and third. Is Cream that's still out in front of this one, as now you've got 3 BMWs running together. Nethel not done with this one. The fight over third place is definitely not finished yet. Trying to get back past Bliss. You've definitely got the 3 cars in front having broken away, with the 2 cars behind of Stats and John going at it themselves. But it looks like Bliss is now getting away a little bit thanks to Nethel and Crow fighting behind. Crow just cannot find a way past Nethel in this WSR BMW, driving the widest BMW 1 Series possible. Crow using all of the road and a little bit more to try and get on terms with them. Can't do it, can't get the power down, and Nethel still hangs on to 4th place. Awesome driving there from the BMW bank car. Once again, Crow's trying it down the inside. This is the best run they've had so far. Down the inside, in towards Paddock Hill Bend. The Metclad car gets down the inside, gets the move done. Will Nethel have any chance of getting back down the inside? That's brought the other BMW Stats into this one as well, with Stats try and fancy it down the inside. You see Bliss is cleared off in front. Punisher potentially could get into this one, but he has been throwing it off the road a little bit compared to the guys in front of him. You got 3 BMWs running nose to tail, as Crow is still in front of Nethel and LMP Stats. Will there be a change between the teammates? Doesn't look like it, as Nethel is going to try and potentially chuck it back down the inside of Crow and try and get that that fourth place back. Remember, this is the fight for fourth place. These guys fighting is just bringing Punisher and Birchie into this one. The Stats goes a little bit wide on the exit, a little bit of a slide there. That might allow the Audi to get finally past that BMW. Doesn't look like they're close enough to fancy moving towards turn number 1 though. Trying to get as close as they can. John cannot do anything about the Beamers. As soon as he gets close up, they move right over to the inside, trying to go for a really defensive line. That was probably the best shot he's going to have. Tries to go around the outside. Looks like Stats is attacking the teammate. The two WSR BMW side by side as one of them's off. I believe that Stats throwing it down and off the road. One of the BMWs goes off. I'll try and get the number of which one it was there, but I believe it was Stats. It was Stats. The 99 car's off the road as the 87 now goes sideways through McLaren's and lets the 9 car through of Track John. So Punisher's now in this as well. So there's a 4-car BMW fight behind as John now runs wide once again. But Nathel runs a little bit wide themselves, gets a slide on, and John loses 2 places as Punisher gets through as well. So Punisher really figuring into this fight. Will Punisher be able to throw it down the inside or maybe the outside of the 87 car? Punisher ran wide here at Paddock Hill before. He's gone down the inside and managed to get the move in towards Druid. Side by side, the 2 BMWs, and Punisher gets through. John's in there as well. John sends it down the inside of Nathel as Stats has got back on the road, and Stats is really challenging Birchie behind. Stats going to want to try and make up for lost ground as John's sideways off the road. The Audi goes. So the Audi's now out of this one. You've got 4 BMWs running together. A little bit further in front, you've got the 4 Beamers going at it. This looks like a single mate championship at this point, but it's not. It's the World Touring Cars, but it's 4 BMWs fighting it out over, I believe, this is now 5th position. Birchie throwing it down the inside for the back of the grid as one as the WSR cars exit stage left. Now, that was a 4-car fight, it's now a 3-car fight. Birchie on the back of Punisher. This is definitely not over yet. Down in towards turn number 1. Punisher trying to throw it against Nathel, but goes wide himself. Birchie gets up. Another position for free. It's like the Moses effect for this white BMW. At the front, though, it's a relatively unchallenged win for It's Cream in that brand new livery. It's definitely done them well. Coming across the line to win round number 18, It's Cream. The Privateer Honda takes the win against the pair of Simpsons cars with Puglex Modified and Track Bliss rounding out the podium. All Honda top 3. Track Row, Nathel, SVR Birchie and Punisher. 4 BMWs line astern with Track John in 8th. LMP Stats after the off recovered to 9th. Track Johnny in 10th. SVR Brothers from the back of the grid could only manage 11th this time, with Skunkai rounding out the top 12. So now it's time to see what those 3 races have done for the championship, and thanks to the former championship leader being absent from this round, there's a brand new name at the top, and look how close the standings are. 728 points is what Track Row has and leads the way by just 5 points over LMP Stats, with Nathel a further 4 points back in 3rd. Sean S91 sits 4th on 713, with Puglex Modified rounded up the top 5 on 707. That top 5 is definitely not hard to break into, with WRT McCallboy just 3 points off breaking in. 7 points further back is Track John in 7th, with a bit of a gap to Skunkai and Track Johnny, which round out the top 9. So the next time we're going to see the pro drivers in the Track World Touring Car Championship is where we head down to Le Mans, France for round number 7 of the championship. If you like what you're seeing, you want to see more, don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you don't miss out on our latest uploads, so you also don't miss the AM class, which comes up next.